Welcome to the Only One Mic podcast called Gerard, Brooklyn, Dre, just me. How y'all doing?
What up?
It's good. All right. Yeah, just us today, guys. No guests, but we got something to talk about. R. Kelly, sentenced to 30 years. Football
My mind's telling me no.
That just messed up. 30 joints, man. 9 counts of federal racketeering and sex trafficking.
So how you feel about that?
Listen, man, I don't know the full story. You know, to me, we was discussing this behind the scenes, is that I don't know what it's based on. Like, I could be wrong, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but evidence. Were they just going by these girls' accusations?
It wasn't just a girl's.
Well,
you know, a boy came out.
Yeah, it was two men. All right, so 9 women and 2 men. These are they gave their testimonies. They told the jurors that Mr. Kelly had inflicted severe sexual, physical, and emotional abuse to them.
Let me put it like this. I feel like this. I feel like, one, he should definitely be held accountable for what he did. So I think that 30 years is appropriate. That might be a little bit excessive. However, the major part that everybody is forgetting is that, what about these parents? Nobody's holding the parents accountable. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to sound funny, but like, people see stars, they see opportunity. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of stars that are out there. People idolize them. They try and get money from them any way they can. I guess it would be a form of extortion, right? But at the end of the day, I know that my 11th grade child in high school or my 12th grader is not going to spend a night over R. Kelly's house just because he's R. Kelly.
Hey, listen, even bigger than that, I go to church now, man. I'm trying not to have like we praying so we don't have a violent bone in our body. But let me tell you something, man. If my kid was stuck at R. Kelly's house, and
you're busting down the door,
it's gonna go real left.
Yes.
It's gonna go real left.
And then to try, I don't know if you saw the documentary, but then it was like, this lady,
Surviving R. Kelly?
for her child to come outside. She was pleading.
Surviving R. Kelly, right?
What happened?
The documentary Surviving R. Kelly. That's what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
So she was pleading for the daughter to come outside.
But I think at that point they were considered grown, so they were just on their own thing, not coming out at that point, you know what I mean? But I guess where that whole thing starts is they're saying that when those little girls came in there, they were supposed to be underage, supposedly, you know what I mean, or allegedly. And I think when I was showing that portion of that Surviving R. Kelly, I think they had been considered, of age then, and they were just making their own decision.
Well, a lot of them testified. A lot of them testified that they were minors when he first had sex with them. First had sex, the key word.
Well, in the Surviving R. Kelly documentary, they said that he used to linger around outside, like not too far from the high schools.
He was hanging out at the McDonald's.
Hanging out at the McDonald's by the high school. So he was waiting for him. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, even me, I'm trying to think of who I love. So, okay, I was in love with Rakim. I was in love with Kane. As a young girl, had I seen them on the street, I probably would have been a little like starstruck. You know what I'm saying? Asked for an autograph, but never would I feel in my heart that it would be okay if I was propositioned to go to their house.
I don't know. Would it be? I mean, because it's not okay, but I'm saying, and then don't hit me with the creep stick, man. But you just said that these are 2 people that you idolize, if I can use that word, and you a young girl and you see him and somebody, one of these guys propositioned you. Are you in the right frame of mind to think that that's right or wrong? You know what I mean?
Listen, you have to, what I'm saying, I guess it's the core values that were instilled in me. I know to value myself. Anybody can meet a star. What does that mean? They pull down their pants and pee just like everybody else.
But I think that's an important thing you said. You have family, like you raised by your father, you know what I mean? So Let me
right?
tell you something. All of this stuff that's going on that R. Kelly is being accused of is not new. You know what I mean? When I went to
It's been going on for
high
decades.
school in New York, they were grown men picking up little girls at the school, and it's been going on for a long period of time. This used to be considered normal. I'm not saying that it's right, you know what I mean, and I don't agree with it. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Don't normalize.
No, where it's not normal. It's not normal
at all
when you trap somebody in a house.
Well, you know, I'm not even talking about that portion of it. I'm just talking about grown men coming to high schools and picking up little girls and stuff like that. It was a huge thing when I was in high school.
It's
that
still
little
a
girl
huge
would say
thing.
that they got a man taking care
An
of
older
them.
dude. Yeah, an older dude buying them sneakers, the 5411s, whatever. Yeah, it's still a thing. It's still a thing. But now it's Yeezys. It's not 5411s no more. Now if a man buy a pair of Yeezys, you in there. You know what I mean? But I was raised, I know better. No matter how starstruck I might be, I would know that it's inappropriate for me to go home with that man.
Again, it's important that we let everybody know we're not condoning anybody raping anybody or any pedophilia act or anything like that. But let me tell you something. Again, you had a family, you had a father, you had a home. You know how many little girls is going to high school, they ain't got nothing, no family, might not be eating tonight. You know what I mean? And are willing to compromise, whatever little bit of morality they might have in order to be with that particular person. Not to mention, and you said something before, very important. I think everybody should be locked up. I think the security, the parents, anybody in them studios that saw this stuff going on.
Yeah.
Because what was the artist, I believe isn't it
Sparkle
was saying like, yo, this is going on. People know what's going on.
She said he got her niece. He got her niece. And in the documentary, I forgot how it actually happened, but in the documentary, she said something like she was against it and she was wrong, but she, her parents had to fight that. She put up as much of a fight as she could. But like she said, I think it was her that said she remember being at the house and, this is before, or, like early on when she first started recording with him or whatever. And like, she would hear somebody like banging on the door. Like in one of the rooms, she would hear like banging. And then he had to give them permission to come outside. I think she referred to the wife and she was like, what is that? Like, this is what she's saying to herself. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, what is that? Where is that coming from?
But you know what, I think too that, and we talked about this earlier, prior to getting on, they're not playing with this child sex trafficking, sex cult. Remember Nexium? That went crazy with the Nexium sex cult. That guy, I think his name was Renee or something like that. He had Ghislaine Maxwell. Then just yesterday, she got like 20 years just for being associated with Epstein and his foolishness. So I think that like all of this stuff coming back to back to back to back is kind of like with him definitely is just like setting a precedent. Like nobody's safe on this one. Nobody's getting off. Yeah, but
what bothers me, the parents should be held accountable. In my opinion, yes, I feel that way. However, I also know that this is a big business. Okay, it really is. Sex trafficking is a huge business. It's wild stars involved with sex trafficking. Wild people are making money off of sex trafficking.
Well, here's the point that I was confused about. Like, I thought sex trafficking was considered like, like whereas you got like a bunch of girls from a different state or another country and you basically stole them or something like that and you took them somewhere and kind of put them in a house somewhere, holding them hostage for prostitution and stuff like that. So I'm kind of confused as to why he got like the sex trafficking charge. Like, did y'all find anything about that in the story?
Sex trafficking is everything you just said it is, and it's also punishable up to like 20 years per count. So
no, what he's saying, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe what you're saying is you don't a better understanding of why they would give him a sex trafficking charge.
Yeah, I could see rape, I could see pedophilia, if you're gonna if this is things that he actually did, I could see you charging him with that. But the sex trafficking charge, I'm trying to see how that comes into play. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Sex trafficking is the action or practice of illegally transporting people from one country or area to another for the purpose of sexual exploitation. So that's the dictionary terminology for sex trafficking. Now, maybe
in the law they
instead
can
of it
have
being
all kinds of A's and B's and everything else that might.
instead of it being state to state, most of the girls was from Chicago, right?
Right.
So maybe trafficking could be something where it's one area of Chicago to his area. You know what I'm saying? But that's why he caught the charge for sex trafficking.
Well, even in that, I mean, even if him taking the woman, it's not. I didn't hear about him prostituting any of these women. And I'm assuming that if I took a woman from one place to another and I violated or something like that, then it would be just considered rape or whatever charge it may be. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be considered like sex trafficking. It's a little weird, but we can check. We can check it.
Okay, what it is charge, too right? is sex trafficking of minors. I didn't realize this was different. The sex trafficking of adults is up to 20 years. If you sex traffic a minor that involve force or fraud, that will be punishable up to a life term in prison.
No, I'm not. Well, I don't. I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the time. I'm talking about the actual what he's being charged of. You know what I mean? Whether he should be charged of sex trafficking or not, but that's neither here nor there. But at the end of the day, if he did what he said if they did all these things that he said he did, then it is what it is. I'm not trying to cape for the guy or anything like that, but I always say, man, it kind of scares me, this whole court of public opinion thing, because if I'm a regular person, we're all regular people. Let's say, for instance, we're stars now, and then one bad situation goes on with a particular person. I'm not talking about, just a sexual incident or something like that. Somebody might be lying. But, once you tag, like Jay-Z said, once you tag lame, the game is follow the leader. So then you got a bunch of people just getting on the back of it, and they say, yo, listen, he did this, he did that, because everybody's want a part of getting some money at this point. You know what I mean? And my question is that, let's say hypothetically speaking, he only did this one thing to this one person. I'm not saying that it's right. You know what I mean? But it's just one person that he might have done this thing to, but everybody's saying that he did it to, 40 different people, and now he's doing 30 years in jail. And again, I don't agree with him. If he did it, it's on him. He got to do what he got to do. But that court of public opinion scares me. Take in consideration, look at Johnny Depp and his situation that just happened, right? Let's say, for instance, if, after, that person, it wasn't his wife that came out against him.
Yeah,
and speaking against him or whatever the case may be. If 40 other people came along and said, yeah, Johnny Depp did such and such and such and such. You know what I mean? And the court of public opinion, that he did it. He did it already. You know what I mean? Through the social media area and all that other stuff like that. He's already convicted of, this crime. So again, I don't know, it kind of scares me. I mean, but R. Kelly has already shown a pattern, of things that he's done in the past that, will pretty much solidify, everything that everybody else has said. I mean, he had the little tape or something like that back in the days, which to me personally, I think even they should go back and lock them people up, the judge and everybody else. If you got a videotape and it shows this is him and all of y'all danced around this situation and claim that he, paid this person off and paid that person off to get out of that situation, I think they all should be locked up too.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because this is what the federal prosecutor wrote in this sentencing letter. This is coming from the New York Times. And the letter said that Mr. Kelly has shown no remorse for these crimes, using his fame and stardom as both a shield, which prevented close scrutiny or condemnation of his actions. And it says, and a sword, which gave him access to wealth and a network of enablers to facilitate his crimes, which goes back to what you said. You have a bunch of people who might know this, and his adoring fan base, which is to call his victims. Now, that's the thing that I often think about too, was like, how many people knew what this guy was on? I'm talking about in the celebrity circle. He's done a lot of collaborations and produced a lot of music for a lot of people. And I'm pretty sure
if I'm not mistaken, I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize.
That's all right.
If I'm not mistaken, a lot of what he was doing was like in his house. So I'm assuming, okay, so let's just put it out there. Obviously, he has mental issues. He has a sexual, yeah, it's sexual. People have sexual problems, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not, problems is not the word that I'm trying to say, but like abuse as a child. Maybe he was touched. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they already said that.
I believe it said in one of them documentaries.
According to him, it was allegedly his sister abused him and his brothers.
Right there, that's something wrong right there, because we know we would never touch our sibling. You understand what I'm saying?
As a matter of fact, this is what his lawyer said, because I'm glad you touched on that too. This is her sentencing letter. His lawyer name is Miss Bo Jean. Mr. Kelly's lawyer told the judge that the prosecutors portrayed her client as a one-dimensional villain, undeserving of any measure of humanity or dignity, and that there is far more to the picture. She said, to your point, just traumatic childhood, which includes severe history of sexual abuse by relatives and others, warrant a lenient sentence. And they said that was according to an interview he did with GQ in 2016, saying that he was sexually abused while he was growing up.
I totally feel like, because let's just be honest, this is an honest platform. I don't go around sharing stuff like this all the time, but I was raped in 2006. It's not a good feeling. It's you question yourself. You try and find ways in your mind to, it's crazy. It's like a mental thing. It almost becomes like a form of abuse, the things that you go through after you've been violated like that, because then you start blaming yourself. Like, here you are, you got violated, but you're finding fault within yourself. It messes with your self-esteem. It messes with your whole entire mind frame. So, and let's not, I feel for the women that were in that house. If they were held captive, right. I feel for them. You know what I'm saying? All the ones that from the documentary that he gave a disease to, I feel for them. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like, one, it's a lot of parties, just like you said, Andre, that's involved, and they're not suffering from this, and they should be. The parents, the whoever knew on his staff, what way that knew or heard about what he was doing, but because he was making hits like that, they probably wanted to, because to have R. Kelly on your album was really something. Some of the greatest performers have performed with R. Kelly, or he wrote their songs. So it's sad that mental abuse is mental health is something that's taken so lightly in this country, because it's a mental health issue.
Hey, listen, man, R. Kelly would have to be the dumbest person since OJ. If, let's say, for instance, that first case, he beat the first case, right? With the videotape and everything like that. And then you come back and continue to do this, you got to be a stone cold nut.
Right.
You know what I mean? To continue to do this. That was a big case back then. I don't know how he beat.
But it's a sickness. It's a sickness. So that's what we have to keep in mind. So we got to look at sexual predators, as disgusting as they are, and rapists as disgusting as they are, and pedophiles as disgusting as all of that is. It's a mental problem. It's a sickness. And there's really no resources to help these people.
Well, again, and the fact that, and I'm not, again, I keep saying we not condoning what he's doing. I mean, but why would you continue to do that here in the United States of America?
Were you saying, oh, he's R. Kelly, he has money, he should have went to a different country?
Maybe,
Instead of getting caught?
If that's what you're into. I mean, I'm not saying that is right. I'm not saying anybody should do it. I'm just saying, like, you would have to be the dumbest person. That's like just saying, like, I got caught with 100 bricks of cocaine and just coming right out of, and you beat the case.
And then you go right back to go and then
you come back out and get another 100 bricks. Like, it doesn't
from the same, yeah,
from the same connect, the same everything. You just.
So maybe the prosecutor was right that it was a narcissism thing.
I don't
narcissistic.
Yeah,
I think his ego was. I think his ego played a part.
He can't be that stupid as a black man. He can't be that dumb.
I know people that's more dumb than him.
I'm quite sure there's some idiots in this world, but no, I'm saying I don't get how he can feel that way. He walked into a courtroom with a videotape and he beat it. I can feel how he could feel strong about that. But to go back into, it's like OJ.
And
like
that's
all the
what I'm trying
stuff
to
you,
explain
all
to
the
you.
stuff you beat, and then you get locked up for stealing your own stuff. You know what I mean?
But that's what I'm saying. That's another person with mental issues. To me, as far as I'm concerned, he has like.
Leave Juice out of this. Leave him out of
All
it.
right,
This
I'm
has
just
nothing
saying.
to do with
If,
Juice. He
I'm
did. The
just
man
no,
did his
because
time.
remember, if you watch the show, I mean, if you watch the People versus OJ, which was
Yes,
an
I
excellent.
did. Yes, I did.
Okay,
Yeah.
did you see how like he
I'm
was
not black.
very
I'm OJ.
arrogant?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
But he was OJ Simpson at that time.
It was OJ Simpson.
Exactly.
Man.
So he was R. Kelly at that time, and R. Kelly was big. I'm not just saying for the black community. Yes, for the black
Hold on. I gotta
community, he
stop
was
you right
fighting
there.
for
I gotta
white
stop you right
people.
there. Hold on. I don't know if you can make those comparisons of OJ back in OJ's heyday to R. Kelly.
No, I was not.
I believe. I feel on that one. I think that in their respective times, they're equally as.
That's what I'm saying. He was big during the time that he was out. He was huge. Everybody wanted R. Kelly on their joint. Everybody was trying to get R. Kelly to cut, to do a record with him.
But OJ was in a naked gun.
Goodbye. I'm done. I'm done.
Have you ever watched The Naked Gun? You know
yeah.
What I mean?
Deserved the Oscar for
33 and a third.
All right, let's go. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but I don't think I think they both were very big names in their respective times, man. But again, R. Kelly got to be about the dumbest person possible, man. If you
he has a sickness. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It is a sickness.
Listen, you got to do like my man Russell Simmons. Russell Simmons got the heck out of Dodge, man. As soon as they started even mentioning his name in some foolishness or whatever the case may be, we have. I don't think I've seen Russell in the city since.
Now you get Russell. You have Russell sightings every now and again.
Like a Queens dude, man.
You have Russell sightings every now and again. That's where we reduced to.
Every time I see Russell, he got his legs folded up somewhere in
a yoga position.
Yeah, in a yoga position, man.
He's at home. He's at peace.
Where's he at again?
I don't know.
I thought it's like in the Middle East somewhere.
Like India or something.
He could be on the moon for all I know. Russell on the moon.
Wherever he's at, I was watching something with him, and it was showing him, and he was talking about how much he's doing for the country. And
well, you know what's so crazy?
Spreading that money around.
Yeah.
What's so crazy is like we heard rumors about him for years too.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Like that's a heavy crown to wear to begin with. And I guess that if you are not built for it, you will crack under pressure. It doesn't make it right what these people are doing, but for years they was talking about Russell Simmons. For years they've been talking about Diddy. For years they've been talking about Diddy.
I watched something with Kimora Simmons, man, years ago. I remember, watching the video, and I was like, it's just that kind of thing. She's talking, and it's like Cribs or How I Live in one of them joints. And as she was talking, she was saying something about their timeline. I was like, wait a minute, she was a kid then. You know what I mean? I'm using the math in my head at the time. But again, I could be totally wrong. But it's sad. But again, it's crazy how they come after these guys, man. But Woody Allen can sit right in the New York Knicks game with his daughter/wife, and nobody says anything about it.
Daughter/wife.
There's also a man by the name of Roman Polanski who went brought up on these charges, got out of Dodge, but still had several Oscar-winning movies here in the United States.
Yeah. I'm not exonerating any of these guys, man. But again, if you're doing it, let's start scraping. Let's scrape the pot and let's get everybody off.
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask the question. Did y'all see the video that's been circulating on Instagram about the state of the country right now? It's the reason why Roe versus Wade is happening. How it's a ploy for white males to take the country back over.
I listened to that, man, and I think a lot of people coming to that conclusion. Like they're almost like how supervillains used to be. Like like if I'm ugly and messed up, then the whole world needs to be ugly and messed up. It's like it's kind of weird when I think we're like only 30%, from what I understand with black people, we're only like 13% of the population. But historically, this government has done things to kind of keep our population controlled,
Mm-hmm.
and Latinos, keep their population controlled in order to continue to control voting and all kind of other stuff like that. So I mean, there might be some truth to that.
But hey, listen, we got to get ready to wrap up.
Already.
Got some things I gotta take care of. But before I go,
us to the curb.
I got I'll explain it later. I'll explain it off here. Yeah.
All
right. Before we get ready to wrap, though, I want to bring it back to this R. Kelly thing to let you know what his lawyer said. Now, listen, this was the live news, so you're going to hear some stuff in the background, and I have no control over that, but live news, folks.
Kelly has some literacy issues, so it's really important for there's a great deal of things that have to be explained in a little more slowly. So,
but in terms of the sentence, how does he feel about the number of the sentence?
Well, I mean, obviously he's devastated. 30 years in prison is like a life sentence for him. But at the same time, we knew the government was asking for 25 years. We were prepared for what the judge might impose. So it didn't come as a great big surprise. We were prepared for it, and we are now cases. It's obvious he's got pending cases, and he has a Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. And I advised him to invoke that Fifth Amendment route. I promise you, he does want to make a statement. He will make statements eventually, but on the advice of counsel, he remains silent today.
Will you be putting in an appeal?
That he is not guilty.
How soon will you be putting in an appeal?
Okay, so the appeal will lay out that the enterprise that was charged, as you will see if you've read my post-trial motions, which you probably have not, our position is this was not a RICO or Racketeering Act violation. These were isolated events that happened many years ago, and the government simply tried to plead around the statute of limitations to bring it in a RICO charge, which was inappropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, see, that's what I was saying too, man.
Yeah, back to your credit, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too. It's like it looks like they stretched it out for him, man. And I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve what he got if he did what he did. But at the end of the day, that doesn't sound like sex trafficking sounds like organized crime to me, almost. In some sort of way, it sounds like somebody put something together to continue a crime. You know what I mean? It doesn't sound like what he's doing. It sounds like he did what he did with a bunch of women or children or whatever he did, and he should be charged for that. Pedophilia and rape, whatever comes along with that, he deserves it. You know what I mean? If he commit those crimes,
Absolutely. All right, guys. So with that being said, we're going to get ready to wrap this up. The Only One Mic podcast is available on all major platforms that you stream your podcasts on. Also, check out our Only One Mic podcast YouTube channel to catch up on the past and current shows like this one. Please don't forget to rate the show and subscribe. Also, if you'd like to get in contact with the Only One Mic podcast, you can reach us via Instagram and Twitter at the Only One Mic P1, Facebook and LinkedIn at the Only One Mic podcast, and also via email at the onlyonemic00@gmail.com. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even the dull and the ignorant, because they too have their story to tell. So until next time, please keep in mind that we never had to run from the Ku Klux Klan, and we shouldn't have to run from a black man. Peace.
Peace.